Alright, as previously promised in my last video, today I'm going to get into the specifics of the visa that I'm on, such as the fees and the costs. This video will actually have two parts, all in the same video. The first part, I'll get into the specifics, such as the costs and the fees of the visa. The second part will be how I went about saving this money and how I changed my financial habits. If you're not interested in the specifics of the visa and how much it costs, then you can just skip ahead to this part of the timestamp where I'll talk about how I went about saving the money. Now, the visa that I am on is called a Tier 4 student visa. You have to have an acceptance from a British university before you can even apply for this visa. The visa itself is not that expensive. It's around $440 US. But there's other fees such as the IHS fee. The IHS fee allows you to receive medical care while you're here. Now, that fee is around $300 to $400 per year you're here. So if you're here doing an undergrad, which is 3 years, not 4 years like in the States, then that is around $150. Adding on the cost of the actual visa fee, we're now looking at around $15,000 US. That is just for the visa itself, including the IHS fee that allows you to get medical care while you're here. In addition to that, you have to prove that you're able to take care of yourself while you're here. So you have to have a certain amount of funds in your bank account. This means proving that you have around $1,300 US for each month that you're in the UK for a maximum of 9 months. That's a mouthful. So $1,300 US for each month you're in the UK for a maximum of 9 months. And that's only if you live outside of London. It's even more if you live inside London, obviously, because the cost of living in London is sky high. So around $1,300 for a maximum of 9 months. Now you're looking at having to prove that you have at least $11,700 US in your bank account by time you apply for your visa, and you had to have had that amount of money in your account for at least 28 days prior to your application for the visa. Now, remind you, these numbers may vary due to the conversion rate. The US dollar has been dropping quite a bit lately. So these numbers are based on what I remember paying, as well as research that I've done for this year. And keep in mind that for some of these fees, for the 2020 to 2021 school year, some fees are due to change. So just keep that in mind. But these are rough figures. So how did I go about saving this amount of money with only one source of income? The biggest help was that I had a 3-year head start. I knew where I wanted to be 3 years before I even got there. So I got there by simply changing a few, not a lot, just a few spending habits that helped a lot. The first, for 2.5 years, for every month after bills and other financial commitments were paid, I committed to paying 30% of my income into a savings account every month, sometimes more depending on if life allowed it for that month. After about a year of having my first savings account, I realized that this probably wasn't the best savings account, and I did a little bit of research. And I opened a new savings account based on a few requirements that I needed in order to save effectively. So the first one was looking at a bank account with at least a 1.2% APY. Not having easy access to the account. I did not have a debit card. Obviously, you usually don't have a debit card for a savings account. Not having a debit card. And in order to transfer funds, it took around 3 to 4 business days, giving me a lot of time to second think any bad decisions. The next thing I did was I paid more than double what my car note was due, which helped in the long run as far as interest and being able to avoid X amount of dollars in interest. So I ended up paying my car off 9 months early, allowing me to move on debt free. So one of the most important and sometimes difficult ways to save money that we all know, we hear about, if you look up saving money right now on Google, it'll be like one of the #1 suggestions, and that is to remove vices and leisures and all these other things that we don't need. So, stop buying clothes for your chihuahua every month. So for me, I stopped eating out so much. I cooked more. I stopped going out so much. I didn't go out a lot anyway. Luckily for me, I didn't have any, vices or something that I was addicted to that was hard to give up. I wasn't I don't smoke, I don't drink, boring, I know. I don't club anyway because I'm an introvert. I wasn't a sneakerhead or a gamer. So basically, in conclusion, being a boring introvert saved me money and helped me pay for my visa.